What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. And if you haven't already, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit those bell notifications before we get started and you realize that, man, I really don't like this video, but by then I got you. It's too late and you gotta stay subscribed. Anyways, we are going out to the garage because we are trying to drop the engine out of Nate's ST. If you guys have watched any of the other videos, he had low compression in cylinder 3, lost oil pressure, and the engine's pretty much kaput from what we have been able to see. So we're trying to get the engine out of there so we can go get a new one and pop it in.
Underneath the car here, Nate is trying to get the turbo loose. So you're gonna have to take out that nut right there for the flange, and then that should drop out. If we want to take the whole cat out, there's like a bracket right here. Sorry, this light is a little brighter than what I thought it was once you get it on camera. So we could take out those nuts right there as well as these over here to the side and take out that whole bracket, and then also detach it from the back here. We'll get the cat out. I don't think that we need to do that. Right now we're just trying to take it apart piece by piece to try and figure out what's going on. I believe it may be a failure in the turbo, but we'll find out. Still out here working on getting the turbos off. We had a problem with the heat shield, so we just kind of knocked it off with a chisel. And then Nate is on here getting these nuts off the back so we can pull this off the exhaust manifold. And the turbo housing will then hopefully come out, right?
Yep.
Nate is out here trying to get his suspension out, mostly just because he's trying to get his drive shaft out, or his CV axle to be correct, because the engine needs to come out. Took the turbo out and nothing seems to be wrong with the turbo. It's spinning freely. We have it over here on the table. We fully took it apart, checked it out. Everything was spinning. There was no debris up in it. Everything seems like it's fine. So the issue then is narrowed down to the block itself and the actual cylinder. Since it was cylinder number 3, we think something may have happened in there. Maybe it was a premature detonation, not really sure. Either way, this engine has to come out, and with these, as you can see here, here's your mounts. So this thing is gonna have to come out through the bottom. This isn't like a super easy job, especially too in your own garage without a lift. I would say this is probably a day or 2 max to try and get this engine out. Since Nate is leading this up, we're on month number 2, but it will be out of here eventually, I think, possibly. That Mini, which we've been working on for the last 10 years, will probably be on the street before this thing is. But hey, you don't know, right? You're doing your best, right? That lets you know how good his best is. Nate is out here trying to disconnect everything on the car. We're trying to get off the coolant lines. He got these off over here. I'm working around here on the electrical. When I say I'm working on this, he did the majority of it. I'm coming in for the last steps, and then we're gonna try and drop this engine down. One difficulty or one hurdle that we're gonna have to get past is when he parked the car to start the work on it, it's right here by the garage door. Also, the engine comes out through the bottom, but because he didn't leave himself much room to work on here normally, it's gonna help us when we go to drop this. So we're gonna have to drop the back end of this car as soon as the workspace is cleaned up. We're gonna drop that as low as we can on the jack stands and then use the jack underneath this engine to try and lower it down out of the back of the car, lift the front up and try and slide it out here into the driveway and then push the car back as best we can to kind of try and fill up this space. So fingers crossed that all of this works. Right, Nate?
Yep.
I love your enthusiasm. Hey Nate, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I think your car is trying to tell you something. Nate is down there trying to unplug the starter, and he is wearing my Fun Haver gloves, which leaves me up here to wear his baby plastic gloves, which my man hands keep ripping through. So underneath the car right now, checking to see what all we need to do. This probably isn't gonna be the best way to do it, but I'm going to mount the jack. I'm gonna put the jack right around here where the block meets the transmission. We got one mount back here, so I'm gonna remove that one completely, and then we're gonna head up top and remove the 2 up top and slowly lower this down towards the ground. We do have a low profile jack, so that should bring it down fairly low as long as we can keep it steady on the drop from there to here, which is probably a little over a foot. maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet. Okay, I got the wrench here, but I'm gonna need some of the roll cage tubing. Can you grab me the roll cage tubing? It should be over there underneath the bench towards the wall. That's exhaust tubing.
Whatever, dude.
There we go.
Nate has everything disconnected. He's got the half shafts out, the suspension is out. Right now we're getting ready to drop the engine. I went ahead and I released the lower mount, but there's 2 mounts up top, one on driver's side, one on passenger. I'm gonna slowly let those out until we can get that completely supported on the jack, and then we're gonna lower it down to the ground.
Easy, easy, easy. All right, hold up, hold up, hold up. All right, keep going. Engine is almost out. Just trying to make sure we cleared everything, but we do have one thing down in here that we're caught up on, but we don't know what it is. Trying to disconnect it, and we don't want to break it, so we're just trying to see the proper way to remove that before we get that out. But this engine is almost out and on the ground. You can kind of see right there, pretty dang close. So we found what was holding us up. It was this right here. And you have to pull this little U-clip out of the way. You can kind of see it right here on the thing. So you gotta just push that up and out of the way, which will release this from the slave cylinder. All right, as you guys can see, it is down on the ground. Job is completed. It was pretty easy to get it down, but we still need to make sure that we get this out from underneath here.
I've told Nate to go ahead and make sure he covers everything up because we don't want anything to rust over, especially like the camshafts or anything like that. So we're gonna start cleaning up the whole workspace. He's gonna make sure everything's tidied up so we can go get a new engine and make sure that we can swap over as many parts as possible from this one that are still good. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Thank you for watching it all the way to the end. And if you didn't make it all the way to the end, it doesn't matter because you're not gonna see this anyway. So make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit those bell notifications so you don't miss anything else that's coming up here on this channel. Until the next one, peace.